Hey, good morning, everyone. We'll call the meeting to order.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, once again, we thank you for the day you provided for us, dear Lord. We thank you for guiding and directing us, dear Lord. I ask you to be with us today as we conduct the county business, dear Lord. Just give us wisdom and give us the strength we need to make it through each and every day. We thank you again. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Well, good morning and welcome. Glad to see everybody here on the last day of March. We'll start right in with county personnel or public comments.
Just real quick, I thought I'd come up and let you guys know. We came in yesterday to get everything set up because apparently there's a 24-hour waiting period before you can stream live on YouTube. So we went from our old streaming service, which was at a cost to the county. And now we are using YouTube, which is, if we don't do too much free, and I don't think our meetings are too much. So that's all I got. We put it on the website with a link. And the news, it tells everybody it has a link. So it should go pretty seamless, but there might be some gremlins to work out as with everything. So hopefully it all goes good.
How much do you think you saved the county doing?
Well, our old posted website was, it was about 6,600 a year.
Okay.
So that trimmed that from the budget.
Pretty significant.
So yeah.
Well, I appreciate you. I know Dallas came in a couple weeks ago and talked about it. I appreciate you guys taking the initiative to do that on your own.
Sure.
And if we have a few bugs in it, we'll just power through it. But nice work. Nice work. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Pretty empty room today. Okay, we'll move right on then. We'll just move to item number 1, which is the minutes from the meeting on the 24th. Are there any additions, corrections, or comments on the minutes?
I move we approve the 3/24/25 minutes.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion's carried. Number 2 on the list is accounts payable. Pretty lengthy. Takes the computer a while to bring it up. So. Is there any questions, comments, or observations about accounts payable?
I move that we pay the accounts, approve the accounts payable of 3/31/2025.
Okay, is there a second?
Second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. Barb, could you see if Tammy could come in about this traffic tracker quote? Okay. And thank you for coming in and filling in. It's the first time we work together on this, but it should be an adventure. And if you need some help or anything from me, or if I do something out of order, just let me know. Thank you very much. Okay, Will. There we go. I'm sorry to bug you. I just called you in about this traffic tracker quote.
Okay,
So you talked to Nick Soto at I believe I got his name right.
Right.
Yeah, this sales. And what did you learn that you could share?
we only need the modem if we want to see the information in real time on the computer, which I don't know that that's necessary.
Okay.
Really, for the $800 or $800, I mean, we can download it at any time to my phone or the computer.
Okay.
So I don't think that the modem is really the deal.
All right.
It's Bluetooth capable, so as long as. Well, it'll connect to an Android phone. It won't connect to an iPhone without the. Is it $200? I didn't bring that in.
I can look. I think it's in last week's
Yeah,
stuff.
I think it was. 200 or 300,
Yeah.
I wanna say.
It was a wide variety of phones.
$266 is what it costs to do
$266.
that. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then the GPS data location, he didn't think we needed that either.
Well,
And that would do for it if it ever got stolen.
what,
If it was ever taken,
If it was,
Right.
it would locate it.
if it was stolen and had battery power, we had a fighting chance
Right.
to recover it.
so I don't think that would be a bad idea, just,
Okay, so we probably need the iOS compatibility, which would be the 266. And if we put the GPS data location on it, that's another 318. So
and he is giving us a little bit of a price break for buying two.
I see that. Yeah, he did. He took it down $55 a unit.
Yeah.
That's something. So, Bill, did you do the math on that? 266, 318? No? I'm sorry. You're always ahead on the math.
482, 484.
Five.
Numbers wrong.
584.
584 times 2 then is 1166, I think. Okay. Okay, so if we go back to what we're looking at, we're at 6,400 plus 1166, 7566 for two of them. And we were thinking it was going to be $8,700 last, but we don't need the modem, so. Okay,
I really don't think it's necessary to see it in real time.
okay. Anybody have any questions? She's the resident expert on this because she's made some phone calls.
Thanks.
Okay, and I did make some phone calls and tried to get some other price quotes. I got one from a Tapco and they priced me at $41.65
Per unit.
per unit, but that had GPS, that had this same iOS capability. So
Okay.
they were higher. And then the other company I called was, I think, Street Solutions. And they
Yeah,
never did,
that was-
they never emailed me. They was supposed to email me a quote, they never got back. So as far as I could tell, the prices are in line, if not cheaper. And the customer service, you know, at least that guy, this Nick is returning your,
Always, yeah.
so that's good.
He's real. Communicates well.
Okay, yeah.
Like me today.
Okay, well, you're fine. My experience with the one quote I got was not, customer service was not their in their job description. They weren't
And-
bad, they just weren't.
And
that good.
he will come up. I believe he said that they would come up and. Help us mount it on the pole
Okay,
for at least the first time.
help us. learn.
Yeah.
All right, any,
So you don't can see.
Yes.
yeah, questions?
No, I haven't.
Comments?
I think we can use it.
I think we only need one of them. I think we'd save $6,000 for the computer department. I think we ought to be spending.
Okay.
It's one. I can see easily. I think one can get what we need. It's just my opinion. I mean, it's not as good as two, but I think it's better.
Noted. Any response to that?
I feel we could utilize two of them, especially since we're gonna have two departments that are gonna be using it too.
Road and
Sheriff's office, and because there are gonna be times when we'll need two of them to do what we want to do.
okay. And I never want to put anybody on the spot, but I will since he's here. Traffic counters. I'm just gonna look at you. two versus one. Can you give pros and cons on either? You know? If you wanted to know how many cars are going down a section of your road,
And the speed and the times and when the peak times were. What's that?
so if you had one of them, you could. Can you think, I mean, if you had one versus two, does two give you some options on, where traffic turns off? In my mind, it does, but I don't have experience with it. Who comes on the road and where
Kind
they
of what
leave.
we're looking at, say Old 36, we put one where you get off of Old 36 on the prairie. But we want to know how much traffic turns off at 290th and how much is traveling on north or 320th. We could replace two of them and see how much traffic's flowing all the way through versus just getting a traffic count of what's getting on the road. That's my thoughts with it, having to. No, they can be it takes traffic both ways. So we could have them set up at two different locations.
My question is, can you do that this takes it from one direction? It says that-
What?
So can this count the traffic coming from one direction? I think it said it could be two,
It's both directions.
but can you do it with one direction?
I'm not sure, but I would
I
assume.
thought they could just do it for 290 or something there.
It can go up to 4 lanes.
So your question is, can that same machine placed in one spot count traffic going, say, north and then traffic coming south? Is that what you're after?
No, I just wanted to count for what's going north
Uh-huh.
and then use that. And then if you counted that another road up where it went. Then you should be able to calculate an average of,
You could get the average, yeah.
but maybe it's not.
In my mind, I think the data would be more valuable if it's done at the exact same time. If you got
Right.
20 cars that turn, and you only have, 7 cars that go the other way, well, then that 13 vehicles actually went that way. And our hope with this is that we can identify traffic patterns better and potentially determine road improvement, our thought was, what if we could, instead of going on a 3-year rotation on the chip seal, what if a road doesn't actually get that much traffic and we could go to 4? Yeah, it's just an idea. It does count by size and speed. So you would identify, like the tractor and the planter would read as a huge vehicle, but when you saw the speed of it, you'd know, well, that's not a semi, that's a tractor and a planter, so. Or something. But to Bill's point, and credit to you for trying to be, as conservative as we can, in my mind, I think you need to make it worth doing. But that's.
Yeah,
Okay. So any more questions or? Okay, I would make a motion that we go with Gaddis sales. And we would add the GPS. And the iOS compatibility to each unit. And if my math is right, that brings the total to 7,566 for 2 units. Cost will be distributed amongst the 3 road districts and the sheriff's office. Right? I would make that a motion.
that would be equally spread between the 4. Quarter. Everybody else.
Is that how it is?
Well, I just feel that'd be the correct way with this, because we're not working on the road, I think it's fair. That we
That's a
just
friendly.
equal.
I like it. So we 25% amongst each of the 4.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries 2-1. All right. Now, will there be any, you said he'll come up and help us, so I assume he'll do a little bit of training.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes.
I don't. That's,
Cause I did ask him that. I said, you're not gonna just throw it at me. believe you've already-
Okay, no, I better not. He better, not. But I appreciate you doing that extra work, finding all that. That's, is there anything, I see you're not on the agenda. Is there anything else you'd like us to know while you're here?
Or what, I still have the agreement for FAS 51. That we didn't sign. Between us and KDOT.
Was that something we missed last week?
No. Was I supposed to be finding out something else?
No, I thought we'd taken care of it last week, but
No, it never got signed.
Well, we signed a lot of things.
I guess-
could have
I know
missed
you
it.
did.
I could have missed it.
concern was, but evidently we already signed it when they made the agreement with the engineer, how much they could charge.
But it is reimbursable.
Never noticed that.
The construction engineer, the preliminary
Right.
engineering isn't.
But depends on how much the bid's coming to.
Well,
I mean, that's the way it was on the other bridge and that. They'll have to pay $100,000, up to $100,000 or more.
and this one is. 10%.
It's only reimbursable if it's a. Bid comes in that much below. what the agreed.
Right,
Kind of ask for two different. Kinds of bids there, but. Not sure why we did that, but great job. But. Yeah, they're 6 foot bridge or something.
what one are you talking about?
Is this a grant one or a state one? The grant one, so. We don't, I mean, they provide the specs for that.
Right,
I mean, the state's providing the grant on this, they're the ones that tell us what bridge that we can put in to be able to secure the funds.
they put out all those specs for it.
They found they would carry that kind of bridge.
Do you remember what level grant this was? Or this thing?
Yes.
So then the state puts out the money, the state tells you what kind of bridge you're gonna put out the money for. We're responsible for some of the early onset and prelim engineering costs, but that's tied to the dollar amount of the bridge. Even. No?
No.
No, okay. So how do they come up with preliminary engineering costs? Is it just an estimate or?
No,
how much is
Brady
it?
just gives us,
Okay,
we signed a contract with Brady for it.
okay. And that's your concern.
But they already signed the contract, so I don't think we can get out of it. Otherwise, we know that.
I send them to you.
Okay, okay, so really, this is in play. We just need to sign it.
Right.
Is that right? I'm
Right.
still looking to my
Yeah,
left and my
yeah.
right.
Correct.
Okay, so
Kevin, did I send those to you?
are you okay with it?
I assume.
Yeah, we wouldn't get so much out of it.
I know.
I don't know what the name. But that's what the state, so we already signed a contract with a. The engineering firm, the engineering firm I have more trouble with.
Okay, okay. Well, we can, I mean, I think your questions are valid. We need them answered, but we have to address that in some other time. Because it sounds like it's, I mean, it's in a contract, it's a contract, so it's water under the bridge.
I'm not sure that the state mandates what kind of
Okay.
bridge you put in there. I mean. I think the engineer submits one and they approve it.
Okay.
I'm not sure that.
Okay. Well, we'll keep talking about this. And
But
this is,
they put out the specs though.
it did. That, we never saw that.
They haven't put them out for bid yet.
The specs, what they put out for bid is what the engineer's going to propose. You put a hunchback bridge in there or something that's going to be more expensive than that. IB bridge. I mean, because we had a quote for 50-foot IB bridge for $230,000, and it's a $1 million bridge. So the engineer's gonna probably build a bridge as close as you can to whatever it costs, so.
that's right. So if we look at it though from dollars out of the county, if it was a $250,000 bridge, we'd stand that on that, right? Start to finish. Because we wouldn't have a state train.
Well, I think, I've never heard that the state wouldn't approve it. It had to be a certain kind of bridge to go over that. Because why couldn't they replace it with the same kind of type of bridge that's in there now? I mean, but I think that we're probably past all that, but I'm just be aware that that last one on 220th or whatever, it was supposed to be reimbursable too, but because the bids came in so high, it ended up, it's not going to be, only a portion of it's going to be reimbursable, and we're going to be stuck with the rest of it.
All right, well, duly noted, but it sounds like we just roll on.
Right.
We just roll on. Okay. Well, there's a lot of questions for you. And I mean, I'm glad you asked them. I mean, there's nothing else that gets us thinking about it, but, and we need to, because these are huge, but it sounds like we got a contract. It's just, it is what it is. And I mean, I like the fighting. It's good. Question. So, okay, we do have, so we can sign this. Do we need to sign this while you're here, or can we do it at the end of the
You
meeting?
can do it at the end.
Okay, right on. Okay, well, we do have an 8:30 with our, an executive session with our District 1 foreman. And I'm 2 minutes behind schedule. So, how long do we,
How long you want, John? 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Who do you want in?
Commissioners, 30 or
Okay,
All right. I mean, we go into executive session for 10 minutes for non-elected personnel, 3 commissioners, foreman, county attorney, and Mark, yeah.
is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so moving second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Fine, well, on our next one. Well,
We're out of executive session, back into regular with no binding action taken. Okay, we're gonna move on, just right down the list here. To number 4, which is the noxious weed spraying contract. Any questions or comments on this? This is a contract between our county noxious weed director and Kansas Department of Transportation, to spray thistles and whatnot on the highway rights of way.
Do you have to look it over? Kevin?
Yeah, it's a standard with KDOT, so, yeah.
So I did happen to see him last week at the landfill. He did raise his prices from the year previous. He's at $60 an hour for his labor and $60 an hour for the equipment. Any question or comment?
Also, just a question, has the state ever had any problems with the results of the spraying? I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard anything.
And then down here it says they wanted to reply by January 15th. Bottom line, letter from the state was dated December 5th.
Well, that one I don't. Maybe he called them back and said he was interested and then had another month to make the contact. I'm not sure on that one. But Richie indicated everything's in good order. He changed the prices. He's willing to do it and
He may have been negotiating with them on the price before he. Cause he raised the price. He's probably waiting on them to come back with an okay.
Okay.
Okay, any more discussion? Is there a motion to go one way or the other? I would move we approve this contract between our noxious weed department and Kansas Department of Transportation. Is there a second?
I'll second that. Do we even really have, I mean, he's a director. I mean, he's not. We're receiving money, but I mean, is this something that we have to approve? I mean, can we sign and do this on its own? I'm just asking the
I'm just
question.
following the agenda. It
Yeah.
says motion and that's. Okay. Okay. I'll still hold my motion.
All right, I second it. So,
Is there discussion? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
aye,
Aye. Okay, motion carried.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the clarification. Ah. Okay. Now our county attorney stepped out for a little bit. Let's just go to, because we're gonna need him on both. Let's go to number 7, which is the tax change order. And that's just to look at. So we looked at it, only one this time. And there it is. So any questions on that or probably not? Okay, our last one is the contract with the Lloyd Group. This is something we approved back in January, I believe. And this is the same document I had at home that Mr. Lloyd gave us that first day he was here. I did talk to him, and this is in the contract under other relevant information. It discusses that his fees are estimated at the 25,000, but you're going to be billed for all these out-of-pocket costs. So his assurance was that is in there for his protection against some people take this to a level that gets out of hand. And he indicated that there will be no additional travel costs or postage or anything like that. If we do this in the normal way business is conducted. If we get excessive and he has, excessive was, you have to go quite a long ways with the 25. So there won't be any contingencies. So I just wanted to.
That's question, how much travel are we gonna have to pay? He came up all that way just for 30 minutes a day.
So if we go through his standard form, which is what we got, if we do that, of course, we're gonna have extra phone calls. I think he said it would be 25,000. I just wanted to make that clarification because those open-ended gets a little concerning. So is there any questions on this or any discussion or does anyone want to make that? We just need to sign it. I guess we've already approved it, so we just need to sign it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. Now,
Probably over there. Staff.
yeah, and then in the big pile of paper there. Okay, so we're gonna back up and we're gonna go to number 5. And Mr. Hill, this is the burn ban resolution. I think if you have, I know that our emergency management director sent you a copy of this proposed change. And do you have any comments or things you'd like
Yeah,
to
on
say?
that. So, Don sent this, I think, Thursday afternoon and, just wanting to confirm. I spoke with Lucas about this briefly. The way I'm reading the revisions would be that open burning will not be allowed when National Weather Service range index is high, very high, or extreme, and the forecast wind speed at the Hiawatha Airport exceeds 20 miles per hour. So the way that's reading, even if we have an extreme category by the National Weather Service, if the wind speed at Hiawatha Airport is under 20, then open burning would not be banned in that situation. And then there's a further exception in the proposal that even if both of those conditions are present with the National Weather Service fire index being high, or the wind speed is, and the wind speed is 20 miles per hour higher, the fire chief in the local area can still allow for an open burning if it's in the high fire index. He could not do that if it was in the very high or extreme. So I think that's the one. I mean, that's a change from the last one. And then I did want one revision I think we need to make from what Don had in the proposal, if the rest looks okay, is on subparagraph B, where it talks about permit notification. The second paragraph, it starts with except as provided. If you go down below, it says if the fire chief is authorized to burn, and it has the word permit, and I don't think the intention was that the fire chiefs would be issuing permits. Fire chief can authorize a burn, but the permit's still going through the sheriff's office. So I would take out the word, strike the word permit, and let's have it read, if the fire chief is authorized to burn, and he or she will personally contact. That would eliminate confusion with people asking about open burn, thinking that they can get a permit from the fire chief. So I would recommend strike the word permit there.
So it would now read, just if a fire chief is authorized a burn, he or
Yes.
she.
He or she personally contact. And then just want to make sure commissioners are aware on what subparagraph A means, is if you get questions on that. Then what that means is we're gonna look at fire index and 20 miles per hour or higher from the Hiawatha Airport or the closest reporting airport. Both of those have to be in place for that ban to occur under the open burning. So even if you have extreme from the fire index, if it's 19 miles per hour as measured at the local airport, then that open burn ban at that point would not be prohibited. And then even if both of those are present and it's a high index, the fire marshal or the fire chief in that area can still override and allow for open burn. But there is provision, no burning under any circumstance would take place at the county commission or the governor has imposed a ban or a red flag warning.
Okay, so I'm glad you said that because the intention of this is to allow this in the high when we have.
Yeah, that's how I'm reading.
So paragraph A, though, you may have to say this again, because if I understand what you just said, was that if it's high, very high or extreme, and the wind speed is below 20, then you can burn.
So you would not burn. So yeah, open burning would not occur if it's in the high, very high or extreme,
Okay,
and the wind speed is 20 miles per hour or higher. The fire marshal or the fire chief in that area can override that if the index is just in the high.
okay,
And it's over 20 miles per hour. He or she could grant it if it's in the high index.
Okay.
But not on the very high or extreme.
okay. All right, I misunderstood your explanation. Thanks
Yeah, I
for
think I
bringing it
did
again. Okay, so if the goal is to have fire chiefs to have the ability to essentially make a local call during the high fire index. And the parameters are there. If it's at a high, the wind's under 20, local fire chief says, go ahead, then the landowner can get the permit and burn.
Yes,
Okay, so,
and that would still be the sheriff's office.
And the sheriff makes a-
We took off that
Right.
word permit.
right, right.
And what I think what I was mentioning on the extreme is very high, if the index is extreme or very high, but the wind is 19 miles per hour, then the open burn ban would apply to that situation. You could have, the way this is written, you could have a situation where the fire index was extreme, but when they measured at the either Hiawatha Airport, Horton Airport, whatever the local airport, closest reporting airport is, if it's 19 miles per hour on that day, then that open burning ban under subparagraph A would not apply, even if it's extreme.
Okay, so that's not our intention. I mean, I hope I'm hearing you right. Because what I don't want to happen, what Dawn and I think we've talked about with the fire chiefs is this only applies, this exception, we only want it to apply.
Yeah, so the fire chief exception is only when it's in the high index. What I'm saying is that regardless of what the fire chief may say, if you have to have both, since he used the word and in subparagraph A, if you have an index of extreme,
Uh-huh,
but the wind force or the wind speed is under 20, then that open burning would be allowed because it has the word and instead of or.
okay, so I personally don't want that. That's not my intention.
So, and that's why I want to make sure that was the intent. So I think it would be or, so, if the intention is, if it's extreme category, that you don't want open burning, then you might want the word or. But then with the word or, if it's in the low and you have a 20 mile per hour wind speed, then that would ban open burning if it's over 20 miles per hour. So, I don't know if you want.
I mean, I don't think that will happen because I believe the rangeline fire index is tied to wind speed.
Yeah, I don't think it would either.
Um,
And whether you, yeah, if your wind speeds are, 21 miles per hour, probably not a good time to be out.
Right.
Doing open burning, so,
Unless it's raining.
Unless it's raining and then the fire don't burn real. But okay, so
well, in that case, then, it's likely the index, if it's been wet, it's raining, and, the fire index is most likely going to be either high or below that, then the fire chief would be able to.
so if we change an and to an or, that eliminates the possibility of an approved open burn on a very high extreme because of wind speed.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm friendly to that change. Is there any more comment on that? I mean, that was the intention of what we're trying to do here, I believe, because under the high, with the rangeline fire index, it does make an exception for burning, in the morning, in the evening, and we've had a few days here in the last couple of weeks where a person could have burned. The index said no go. Does it make sense to everybody?
I believe so.
Yeah, the way it would read, and I don't know who has if he has the original, I would like to be able to make the changes, but it's got the and I'm not a formatting expert, it's got the draft water mark, and then also some other formatting restrictions where I'm not gonna be able, I can ask Marty.
So if this helps, and it's part of the different colored paper, that is printed off of what he sent us before.
Okay.
This-
Yeah, and so when I make changes and try to copy and paste it to a new document, it's got all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff, so I can see if Marcy will.
Okay.
I guess between us and Barb, we can get it figured out, if that's the.
I got a couple more questions. So in the top there, it says, talks about burning garden plots and lots and garden plots somewhere.
Which part are you at?
Um,
Oh, under open burning,
Be number 3 there at the bottom of that page.
okay. But then someplace higher, was that or down here at the bottom someplace? I can't find it right now, but it said one thing in one place and something else in another place. Someplace it said it was prohibited, and then another place it said there was
but it
exception
says
for it.
except as allowed in the conditions here. And then there's an AAR that is mentioned in there also. That's a language that was before. I reviewed the proposed changes. Household trash is defined in there, and you do not need for a permit. And then it's for household.
Okay, so
Farm to the waste, including leaves, garden plots may be burned without notifying the County dispatch, however, it must be.
but up there on. But. From the start, on the whereas. Just after, first thing after the whereas is now therefore. Be it resolved, the open burning. The open burning of any fields, lots, garden plots shall be prohibited except as allowed under the conditions set forth herein. If this.
Oh, okay.
Will not exempt any person from obtaining the district. What about it? So is that conflict or is that not?
Which, I see where you're at.
He's on the first page,
Okay.
paragraph 1. Under open burning, and it talks about the fields, lots, garden plots, and then he's saying, does that conflict with the second page? And I'm gonna call it paragraph 3. Where it mentions leaves, garden plots.
Is that, yeah, number 3, the way I read that is that, you do not need a permit to do that. Or you do not need to notify dispatch if you're doing the leaves and garden plots. Has to be intended, if you don't have to notify dispatch in advance, that's what you're doing. And the first part is just saying that, open burning is prohibited except as allowed in the conditions here.
So I guess. Person I've talked to had a little bit of a. Issue with that because garden plots and that is easily closer to a building
I
or,
mean, I don't think you can take out garden plots.
I mean, I don't know. That was,
But what we're really focusing on are fields, lots. So it could just be
I don't think,
burning of any fields. And lots shall be prohibited.
well, I think they kind of wanted. Didn't want those exempted. So idea, but
During, during the high extreme, or high, very high extreme.
well. So if it's not in the high category or higher, you still have to get a permit, right?
Yes, yes, yes. If you burn in the county, you need to get a permit.
Yeah, any open burn, and I think the exception in that paragraph 3 that they had is that, we would not have to notify dispatch if it's, what they call farmstead waste, including the use of garden plots.
I don't know, that was. One part chief's issue, with it. He wasn't sure why that you shouldn't have to notify. The dispatch when you did those things. But on the other hand, once you have to notify anybody. I mean,
Sure.
but that was one concern, but that wasn't it. So, but then the other thing was, why is there an exemption for the landfill and road and bridge?
What that's what you all had. I didn't expect that.
Right, that's the way it's been, but. That kind of looks like, well, government's above what the public's doing, so I guess I would suggest you take that extension out for the bridge and landfill.
We'll work it with landfill.
Right. But so what, it doesn't need to be in there.
Sure.
And
Well-
the road and bridge, they can call it like. Honestly,
Well, that makes sense to me. We could just strike that language and I assume. I would operate under the assumption that the landfill, neither the landfill nor the road and bridge department would burn in conditions that aren't permissible, but, yeah, they should have to get a permit just like,
so
or get authorization. Does that, Kevin, if we strike, that's in,
Yeah,
the second
yeah,
page
yeah.
be, okay, if we just strike that language, does that materially, I guess, change the, no big deal? Okay. Would you want to make a motion? Do you make a motion to strike that? Or can we just strike it and then approve the document?
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. All right, anything else?
it's, so this is. Oh, I don't think on that.
Do you have any questions, Mr. Wood?
I did, I'm sure everybody wrote some of the chiefs that came in, you know, some of them don't want this, some of them want it. And this is just something that I guarantee you next year we'll visit again,
Well, that's okay. We'll refine it and get it
because
wrong.
it happens every year.
Well, it says that the fire chiefs don't have to approve it, so it's up to the fire chief. I mean, so each district,
They just don't want the phone call.
right,
That's what they're saying.
Some of them don't, some of them don't mind.
right, so the ones that don't want it, they can say no.
Don't even call.
Yeah.
Yeah. And our intention, and I mean, my
I know
intention
what
is
they
not to pass the buck.
Mhm.
Because it still falls on our shoulders, but if there's. Our goal is to make burning more workable for people that are really struggling getting it done. And this is the best way we could think of as the emergency management director, the fire chiefs, et cetera, okay, and us. This is the best thing we could come up with now. It doesn't mean we don't reserve the right to change it if we need. to.
Sure.
You know, and we don't intend on making the fire chief's life more difficult.
I printed it off just so you can make sure you're voting on the right thing.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't check the fire rate today. What it is.
No burden.
No burning? Okay, that's the wind that's coming. I see. I had one comment from the chief that mentioned that this Rangeland Fire Index is based on fuel load, vegetative index, things like that, that really in a cool grass area like Brown County, you know, when you're in CRP, it's different because it kind of wants you in grasses, but it's not a perfect system. It's just sort of the best one and really the only one we have that doesn't dump everything on just our opinion.
Trying to highlight what you guys changed, let's use and just make sure. That's what you guys are talking about.
And there's that one, Mary struck permanent. And they struck at and put or. At and or and or can be very critical.
Yeah.
Like shall and may, right?
Litigation of those two words.
Okay, do you want to see it? Did you get a chance to
I
see
didn't
it?
see what you were flipping to, yeah.
But with. So if you're saying. But when you. Bring the road.
Do you feel like 1 and 3, are they in conflict?
I still. Well. The thing was, I'm not sure that garden plot should be exempted. This is basically exemption.
You took back, yeah, I read it. I heard you saying you didn't want that in there, so it's like,
Well-
you can keep it in there. I mean, I just tell me what you want.
You don't want leaves and garden plots exempted during a burn ban.
Yeah,
Okay, so I think he did that on the number 1. The first, on the open burning, he scratched lots and garden plot, or garden plot. Sorry. Do you want lots scratched too?
what do you think?
Well, if your intention is to not have them, that be permissible, then I think you need to strike.
Talking to the fire chiefs, we'll just throw this out there, they said most of the fires and the problems they have is not with the farmers, it's the ones that are burning at home in the small areas during those times. They get out of hand that don't have any means to control it.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
And those small things are close to their house, so.
So if Bill, if we go up to this number 1 on that first page, if we scratch. Do you want to leave lots and garden plots in then? I guess we want to leave it in.
I think we want to leave it in
Okay, so
there.
we leave it in there. But then we eliminate it in the number 3. Because you still want, when I think of farmstead waste, what I'm thinking of is seed sacks and net.
And if it, they said it was contained, it was different than if it's open.
Okay, so if we need to strike it in that number 3. And so the new paragraph will just read farmstead waste may be burned without notifying the Bradley County Dispatch. Is that the intent?
I think that's what I was.
So your intent is to keep the restriction on for lots and garden plots, which you say fire chiefs have commented that most of the trouble actually happens.
Something gets way closer to
The
the building.
potential for trouble is higher. Okay, so. So
Because
then,
most farmers have the means, if there's something gets away in the field, they have the equipment, they go out and help knock the fire down, they help fight it, but. If it gets away by the house and stuff, the garden hose don't do it good.
well, okay, no, that makes sense, that makes
In
sense.
most cases, you know, that's where they've had
That
the
makes
worst
sense.
fires is when the ones that try to burn it that don't have the means to actually put it out, think, oh, this thing won't get away from me, but.
And it's closer to their home or some
Yeah.
structure, yeah. Okay, so we leave the language back, we reinsert the language in 1 there and put the garden plots back in. And then in that number 3, we just strike the words including leaves and garden plots. And then that's the intent. Okay, so sorry to make you do that again. But we're gonna get this right. This time.
By regulations.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, I assume that the dispatch has done that.
Never ask a question you don't want the answer to.
Sorry, not too much.
So I confess, I didn't read the Kansas administrative regulations. That was in the permit before that we had from 2015. And or that I saw.
Yeah, I think it's fine as the way it is.
Okay. All right, we're gonna. This one? Huh?
That resolution, yeah, that has, that the burn ban, it has draft, the drafts off of it, so she might.
Okay, I've got it. That makes
Still don't know what she has.
Drafts not on this one that Nikki gave us, so Nikki has the ability to remove the.
Oh, okay. Well, this is- okay. You.
Yeah, so that's what he was wondering, who would.
have that ability to
Okay.
take grass out. That answers my question.
Okay, and the goal is to make it effective immediately too, upon our approval, it just goes into action. Something else if you were-
So the fire chief has to notify the sheriff's office.
They'll be in communication, yes. So this, and I talked specifically to Dawn about that, because that would be an extra step, but that verifies that the fire chief knows the person and the.
On that paragraph one, say garden, the garden plots. Originally there. Good plots, okay. Okay. So
That's what she's got as garden.
This is the.
okay.
On the other boards I've served on, they call this wordsmithing. Do you use that term around here? I got tired of it. It's sort of like, it's overused. We're words.
Oh.
Crap. But you gotta get it right. I'm on here. We didn't hurt them. Barb, how often do you think you'll fill in? How often does this happen? Okay, okay. Well, it's nice you have a system then. If she can't be here, then you jump right in. That's good. Okay. All right. Oh, boy. Some days we get an agenda this long, it's taking us till 11:30. You know, and then today, it's going pretty quick.
So you got this message from the highway chief, like.
Uh-huh, absolutely.
About enforcing
Mhm.
the penalties that they did get out of hand.
Mhm.
It's important to get that.
Yep, I agree. I agree. That's something we need to look at. I mean, that's up to the,
One person told me. That he didn't mind it. Well, it used to be on the fire department, we got off because. You might have some people that
Thank
had
you.
accidents or whatever, they got tired of stopping his work and going to help somebody that started something foolish. This was years back,
sure,
so we can. Make sure that. It's on control.
it's enforced a little bit, yeah. The fines for this are fairly significant, I think, especially when you get these fire departments that are working together. They have those agreements where if one gets called, then they guess and get called. There's a lot of equipment gets down the road, so it would get expensive if you would.
It take a lot of time for a person to volunteer. They have time to go.
Okay, so got the new. We put garden plots back in under the one. Permit still gone. And we. Struck the language about the. The landfill, is that right? Is it gone? Or was it? Look at. on this number for this second page, letter B, for the landfill. Yep, it's gone. We wanted to strike. At great risk of being. I'm making you do this again, Mr. Hill, I'm sorry. On this page 2, number 3, our intention was to strike this, including leaves and garden. So it reads farmstead waste may be burned without notice.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
no problem.
Well,
So farmstead waste may be burned without.
yes.
Okay.
We are making you get your steps in this morning. It's a team effort here at the county commission. It's just we don't have to get up. Have a good day.
Is there an option for putting on, or to the watermark on?
Yeah, I did. Okay, we should have been on that one.
It's not, yep,
Yeah.
it's not. It's all right. It's a lot. It's. I had something I'll bring up here. I'll get the chance. So last week we got notified of that active shooter training on the 22nd of April. And it says here that it's from 3:30 to 4:30, and he'd like to have as many as possible to attend. So leave a skeleton crew in the office. Is it possible so that everybody can attend? And we just say that on Tuesday, April 22nd, we're going to close the courthouse at 3:30. Is that even a possibility?
I believe it's a possibility. We just have to let the courts know, so they have a court session scheduled that day, that's the biggest thing they will pass.
Okay, so my opinion of that would be if we're gonna do it, it'd be nice to have everybody there.
If we do this on the workers, it is have a free ticket to leave,
It's mandatory, it's, the training's mandatory, but I just didn't know if there, and it sounds like there's a process to make that happen.
So it's going to take place in the courthouse.
Yes,
It's in the thing. Yeah, you're right, at the Brown County Courthouse, yeah.
they'll actually have a mock.
It's just an email that Dawn sent. Well, and maybe you didn't get it, but this is what it says. On the 24th of March. Looks like he's going to. Barbie, you know, does everyone have a county, any county employee, do they have the ID card? Do you all have one? Not everybody, I think that's something he wants to do. Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about that. There we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, here he made, everything was good. The only change he made was farmstead waste maybe.
All right.
Maybe burned without notifying. Yep. Okay, so we made. Want to see the? I'm sorry.
I'm good with it. What's the resolution number on that one? So if we make it 9. 09, what's it in there?
Oh, no.
Yep.
Okay. So I just.
Yeah, you can like that.
Oh, no. Okay, so.
Let's.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we got everything.
With painstaking effort, we have arrived at resolution 2025-09. And I believe we got it
Or that's the old one.
right where
That's
we
the
want it. So
Thank you.
It basically says that. That fire danger is high. The fire chiefs may. Offer.
Authorize a burn. And a permit will still go through the sheriff's office. And, and the fire chiefs have the ultimate say. Yeah, and that is-
And you can't say no.
they can say no, and our intention is if they say no, that no means no, and, they're not gonna have to take any money for it. And then the commission will, and the sheriff's office will back them up. Because that's the wording of the resolution. Okay, all right, is there anybody that wants to take the step of making the motion to approve resolution 2025-0?
Move that we approve resolution number 2025-9 concerning. The resolution by the commissioners to. Enact a comprehensive open burning regulations.
Okay, it's been moved, is there a second?
Also, I think
Okay,
that-
it's been moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
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 Okay, motion carries. Nice job, everybody. I think that's gonna help. That's gonna solve some problems, Mike. That's a good deal. Okay, so the next one is number 6, which is the untarped load fee. And I understand this went through our county legal department too, so.
Yeah, just the one that's there, that's, I guess, yeah, I just made there's some grammatical corrections, but the. What he asked for is in, so.
Okay, and the intention of this, talking to Mr. Pounds, is they get a large amount of trash hauled in there with, that's not secure, tarped, whatever. And you can tell by the amount of plastic sacks and plywood and debris on the road going to the landfill. So they want to be authorized to charge a fee, essentially to encourage people to talk to those.
I think the key is here, they put down here, any covering they're in securing or fastening, just. Sometimes large wood and
Right.
stuff can be secured without a tarp.
With a ratchet strap,
Yeah.
chain.
Yeah,
Make
that
sure
was
that-
my concern. It doesn't have to have a tarp on it. It just has to be secured.
Secured, yeah.
Right.
Or covered to keep it from blowing.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that don't need a tarp. It
Don't need a tarp. Yeah.
Be secured.
Okay, so if I read that's what it says, and it's securely fastened. And so if it's a load of, wood, it's got a ratchet strap, if it's a load of tin cans, it's got a tarp on it, or it's in some container or something, so. Okay, this will give them some clarity on what they can do, and the authority that they have to charge is $25. So they will, I would imagine they'll notify this, there'll be notification signs, something out to.
There's already a sign up that all large loads should be tarped. I think they just have to change it to say secured or tarped.
And the drivers would know, because the language is based on the state statute that requires the same language in state statute on that portion. For when you're on the highway, so if they drove it there, they would be aware. Yeah, it wouldn't hurt just to let them, have some sign that. Mentions the, whatever that fine amount is.
Yeah. Okay.
It's instead of a resolution, it's an internal charge, so I think they can save on the cost of that as long as we give them notice, so. I think just whether it's posting their billings that they send people or a sign out there, it already has a secure, but as far as the assessment of an additional fee, I think they need to have some signage out there in the buying of it.
Okay.
So.
Donnie, we're talking about this fee at the landfill. If we go ahead and approve this, if we give this to you and have you put it on the county website, okay. That'll be good. All right. Any more discussion on this? Anybody want to make a motion?
Make the motion, we approve the tarping, not tarp, securing or covering of loads coming into landfill, and would be those that come in unsecured with debris flying can be additional $25 charge.
Okay.
Added to the dumper fee.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so we moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. Well, that's what I have. We got a lot of things to sign. I have a few other things, what we were just talking about. For the active shooter training. on Tuesday, the 22nd of April. And my idea was to just go ahead and close down the courthouse so that everyone could attend. We close it down 3:30.
That's only an extra half hour for the most part, the front doors are closed at 4, aren't they? 4:30, so it'd be extra.
Yeah, the week that,
Tuesday, April 22nd. So we'd have to talk to the courtroom.
The court, yeah, you think that's 3:30 in the afternoon.
If we had to exempt the courtroom, we'd still have security at the front. They couldn't attend. And then the courtroom,
Yeah, I mean, it's a juvenile sync day, and so those are usually done by Zoom anyway, so I think we can just make sure the judge is aware. That might be going on, because on sync day, we'll start around 9. We, a lot of times go straight through lunch, maybe 3:34, so it's right about that time that we might be finished, so. I just make sure somebody lets, Judge Burnett know that, that'll be happening, and that way maybe you can accommodate with the schedule, by not setting anything past 3 o'clock if we can.
okay, so in this instance, if we allow this. And it worked with the courtroom and they're fine with just shutting down. It'd be nice to have security, obviously, at 32. Can we actually lock the doors so nobody can come in and we're just closed, the doors locked? And so all our security officers.
Yeah, I think if it's exposed to the public in advance, the courthouse will be closed from, at 3:30 on the 22nd of April for, training, then I think you're fine.
Okay.
And then we'll just put signs that day for those who didn't hear it. See the list.
Any more discussion or?
I would say with this, usually with active shooter training, I mean, there is going to be some sitting and listening, but they'll put a live scenario in place in the courthouse, so this will be like people responding here, I mean, officer,
Cool.
I mean, this will be a full blown deal, I mean,
Okay.
it's gonna be, they're gonna have the hospital, like with hospital people.
So you would lock. I believe what you're saying.
Yes, so I mean, just our one door will be up, so I mean, this will be a real deal, or
Okay.
a active shooter training is what that is, I mean.
And so since our newsman is here, our county emergency management and sheriff, I'm sure will coordinate with media and let them know that it's just
Yeah.
training. I'm sure all that stuff happens.
Yeah.
So my intention is to get as many people there as possible. So I think the best way to do that is to close the courthouse at 3:30. We'll work with the court systems and someone will send the judge a message, notifying of the intention. So I would, if you understand my motion, I would make that in the form of a motion. We close the courthouse at 3:30 on the 22nd so everyone can attend the active shooter training.
I mean, I should put close to the public at that time.
Goes to the public. Yes. Yes. My intention is for just to be employees and the sheriff's department, everyone involved in the training. You know, like Rich said, if that's emergency services, ambulance, I have no idea.
And we're gonna make our road bridge come into it. You know, something goes down, they'll probably be notified, we never know what they may end up having to do to help out, if something is actually happening, but I mean, I think that we need to make it available to them.
But not mandatory? What do you mean there? Would you
I
like them there? You think they need to be there?
I don't know if they know if they absolutely need to, I think we make it available to them.
But the court will get 3:30, then
Yeah, they're already off.
It will be a question asked if we close it at 3:30, what's that gonna do with when we close the courthouse, that kicks some things into play about people. Courthouse saying we're closed, is that going to affect people that will go into it overtime mode versus?
Well, it's just close to the public, so we're there, the office day would still be the same. So I compared this like on New Year's Eve. The treasurer's office has to be closed early for, and first, I think, to be there in business, so it'd just be close to the public, so it's be regularly paid.
I'm just asking, in case it comes up somewhere.
that's why I thought you needn't say it's close to the public.
Yeah. And I'd say on Road Bridge, I understand this, that I think the active shooter is more for, if we have an active shooter here, since they don't have office here. We might check with, whoever's doing the training, but they probably prefer it to be more of a normal work setting, and it, you know, we're like, you know, in the courthouse at that time, and they were here, so.
Okay, all right, so that's I guess I made a motion. Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carried. Anyone have anything else? Third and fourth, all this stuff.
Yeah. Start getting some of it done.
I had been, this is new business. I had been in contact with Nikki, you got this one, Nikki last week about department head meeting for next week. Have you heard anything about that? Okay,
Yeah, I think he said
Just you.
Yeah, just for, before the regular meeting, the 8:15 or
Yes.
yeah, she sent something out to all the department heads, so.
okay, so we've got our budget training. Okay, we're on the same page. We got our
So when I said, well,
the 7th of April, our the second, yeah, well, next meeting. Next meeting, and I asked to have the department heads in, unelected and elected, have everybody come in, and the intention of, we're gonna go over, you know, I think what to expect out of this Lloyd group from the budget meeting and everything that's coming. So it's going to be in the form of a work session. Am I correct? I mean, that was my intention. We're gonna have a work session here where we can just have kind of a free and open discussion for 30 to 45 minutes. And I just want to make everybody aware of that. Okay, and then our regular meeting will start at 9 o'clock. 8:45 or 9. So just so you know, it's coming.
Next week.
It'd be a little different on Monday. Yes.
Okay.
so then my question was. You talked about having a calendar set up. Have we done that yet? For Mr. Lordy, for the employee?
She is. Okay, so here we go. She is working. They are working on the first meeting with that one and working on stuff. Yeah. Okay, so that's off, and that's all I had. Anybody have anything else? Okay.
Oh,
Nope.
I did have one thing. So, I don't know if this needs to be done in this meeting or no, essentially. Next, I just read that next month is county government day or something. And back in they passed, the schools used to have a deal where they would elect people that represent county officials, like the sheriff and the commissioner bonus, and they came, did something in the courthouse, and we're kind of introduced to that. I didn't participate in that, but I mean, it was going on around the school, but is that something that would be helpful for the get? Let people know more about what the county's doing. Maybe not this year, but.
Yeah.
Make them aware of that. What goes on.
Sure. No, I mean, that's
At that time, there were a lot more schools, so I'm not sure how it would.
so we want to make our commission meeting in the courthouse open to like some school functions. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying. These people came and I think they, kind of like job shadowing them maybe
Oh,
for a day. I don't know, I don't know if it's profitable or not, but
I don't know.
Sometimes the schools have like a government day, and if a kid wants to go see what a county clerk does, or, you know, I don't know what ages you're talking about, high school.
that was high school. Yeah. Maybe high school seniors, I'm not sure if this one year, I think it's available.
Okay. Well, You come up with something and we'll talk about it. How's that? You planted
I'm
the
talking,
seeds,
talking
you're gonna
all I
walk
don't know
away.
about.
Okay, all right. No, I mean, I think it's fine if somebody, if it's a school group, a government class, anybody would have an interest. I mean, in this room at least, they're more than welcome if they want to come here and see how we do things here. We'd have to pick an exciting meeting. Of action.
That ever going on, go in there, Kevin?
What's that?
Did it ever do that while you were?
So I mean, we do a lot with the court system, so like in, April, we do a mock trial, or not, a mock DUI. Like fatality at the Iowa High School, and then they have a.
That's coming up this year.
Yeah, I've got that on the calendar. I think Judge Weingart and I, are scheduled to talk about. DUI and alcohol and the court system and all of that type of stuff. So we've gone through the court system. I'm not sure of countywide, but we do a lot through the court system and stuff like that, so.
I guess, what I was thinking about it include the clerks, the officers, traders and the
Yeah, no, I'm not since I've been here, but, AAC or somebody may have something like that.
Maybe something we could look at doing. I don't know if there's interest from the rules or not. But
Sure. This one was laying up there too, we could grab the right one.
This one was up here. That's the old copy.
Is that the old
Yeah, I
copy
put
there?
the 09 on the precious.
Okay, I just
That's
want
how
to
I
make
did.
sure that we didn't accidentally grab a wrong resolution.
It's good.
Sign it.
We're not
Thank you.
gonna make
Sorry
her go
about that.
print another one. Okay. Then I guess just for conversation too, it is the 100th anniversary of the building of this courthouse. Do we need to just mention? Oh, you had that.
I just wrote that down.
Well, you go for it, Mr. Lincool.
I know
It's your
that,
deal.
Nellie was gonna be working on something and wanted to, trying to get some stuff together for that one.
And I talked to her a couple of weeks ago and I think there's interest in it, but it's one of those things. She take all the help she can get. And what do we do anything? Do we coordinate with? My idea was like the Maple Leaf Festival, right across the street. You probably open the courthouse for, probably open the restrooms anyway. Could we ask the Historical Society come up very much like they did with the Vietnam, the memorial we had last week out there? Just a small little display, a little information. If you come into use the courthouse restroom, read about the building, a little history blurb and then roll on.
I think, cause I think they've had a lot, there's a lot out there on, that, was it Marlon? Platform with the roof across the street, but there's a lot of nice photos of it under construction, when it was finished, and then like the grand opening. I think it'd be neat. I mean, it's 100 years and people that have come from all over the place, I've talked about, I know when your Dateline was here 25, 30 years ago, they talked about how of all the hundreds of courthouses they've been in, this is one of the nicest they've seen. I mean, you couldn't make this courthouse nowadays with all marble and stuff like that. It would cost a fortune. So it would be nice. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Get the Historical Society, see if they can put together a little presentation with all the archives they have of photographs, and then we could have like a birthday cake, celebrate the birthday of the courthouse or something, and punch and make it something somewhat simple.
Like simple.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice to commemorate something.
So Jackson County had it a few years ago. And they gave tours of the courthouse.
Yeah,
Well, when I went on, the janitor was telling us all about those special things that they did in there that.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting.
yeah, not to volunteer these guys, but like Jim Patton, some of the guys been around a long time, they talk about like the small courtroom was the draft board room where they found out if they were gonna get deployed, or drafted, sort of Vietnam, and then, the law library was the old sheriff's office, and there you can still see the bars and where the closets are, where the 2 jail cells. And, so people that know a lot about it would be interesting. So I think it'd be a good idea. Maybe we could coordinate that with the Maple Leaf Festival, and somebody could, I know probation offices where the draft board had the lottery. That's when people found out where the number was and stuff like that. So,
Well, I thought that was where the draft lady was when I was in.
Yeah, I think that's what Ed Marie Boyle was saying, where his office was, where the lottery picked or something, and Pat said something about the small courtroom, but anyway, yeah, I think all those are good ideas, we could piggyback on, maybe have them do the public display.
I know. So how will we communicate with the historical society? then? Is that,
Yeah, whoever would like to reach out, to them, just see. They could have them come in, maybe, that might be a good idea, just ask if local society to come to a county commission meeting to discuss the 100th birthday of the courthouse and, see if they'd be on board for doing that. I think Maple Leaf, that's probably be a good time to do it.
okay. That was good. Anything else?
Not this time, not the other.
Okay. Mr. Pollock?
But can't wait to actually do it.
Okay, is there a motion to adjourn? Do you have some?
No, I don't think so.
I'll make them.
With already approved and housing with anything environmental services for the budget, it just.
Presenting for their,
This is okay. So I just sign this anyway.
we don't need a motion, it's already been done.
That was easy. All right. Well, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.